In 2006, some of the adults in Kitej, some had psychology background, some were very interested in art, some had other teaching backgrounds. They had already received a play therapy training from Madge Bray from Scotland, and it was proving very helpful in Kitej. However, not all the children needed very structured developmental play therapy, and what arose was an interest in art therapy. So I was asked to provide a training course. I designed a training course for Kitej that ran from 2006-07 through to 2008. And it was actually a 3-module training. It was really quite mainstream. It covered a lot of developmental stages that support children in their cognitive development, physical development, and creative development. So that was the focus, and on children's social development. So we used a lot of the work of Judith Rubin and a couple of other very good art therapy educators and in this structured training. And the participants each chose children to work with, and they worked with them over the course of the training and reported back, and we did supervision. So it was a very thorough training. Then Kitej carried on, sometimes doing art therapy, sometimes not, over the intervening years. And then while I was developing this holistic ecological art therapy, Kitej, like many other communities, was also becoming more aware of ecological principles in everyday life, in education, and decided they'd like another training in this holistic ecological approach to art therapy. So I am here in 2018 to do this new training for people from Kitej, but also other specialists who are working with vulnerable or abandoned children from all areas of Russia. And Kitej is a very rich, resourceful place to run these trainings from. We have this beautiful educational centre with a big open space with many windows out onto nature. We have a beautiful environment with plenty of wild, uncultivated nature, and lots of forest with many different trees, birds, insects, reptiles. So it's a very complex environment with different zones. And of course we have the village, the ecological village, if you like, of the centre, and how that has organically evolved over time, the layout of the houses and the footpaths and the children. So it's a really wonderful base to be, if you like, a centre of excellence for practicing and developing this kind of ecological creative therapy. We have lots and lots of wood, grass, different plants, different kinds of structures, and places deep in the forest where we can build things, we can create spaces, and then we can dismantle them and leave the forest pristine, as if no one had been there. Or we can create things that the children can then come and extend and develop and interact with. So there's a lot of scope here. It's also a really good environment for psychologists, therapists, pedagogues who work in a very busy, intensive, high-speed urban environment to come themselves and reconnect with a deeper part of themselves, deeper resources in themselves and their own natural condition, in order to take that back and be re-resourced in their own work. So the feedback from people when I do these holistic art therapy workshops in a place where there's lots of wild nature it's very helpful. It restores them, it restores their access to their own natural energy, reminds them how much nature is around, and really re-inspires them creatively for their work with children. So when we are really suffering, we have this tendency to almost freeze our skin and come inside ourselves and feel like we are in a little dark place inside. And it can feel like the rest of the world has gone away, or it's a huge, vast cosmos we are lost in. So when we're beginning to work in art therapy, you can see the body is spatial. If I draw, I move out into space. Even this can be threatening, frightening, and can trigger a lot of traumatic feeling, actually. So what I aim to do when I'm training therapists is to train therapists to be very, very fully inhabiting their bodies and comfortable with this feeling of I'm connected to the whole cosmos, to be really comfortable in that and to work through their own traumas around this. So many psychologists, therapists, teachers, many of us, we've had some experience in childhood or in the recent past, like a car accident or being stuck in a lift or an airplane or something, that has made our relationship with space and nature very charged, very traumatic. So we begin with breathing drawings and we gradually extend out until we step onto this size territory, which is actually designed to reflect our real size. Even this can be very frightening, and this can trigger traumatic memories that we are completely unconscious of. But what we do is we work very sensitively in the workshops, and when people are comfortable, they sit or they lie on the paper and they begin to explore what shapes come just from my anatomy, from my architecture. And this has many, many implications and applications. But just to say, even at this stage, standing on a territory this big, for many people, including many professional people and people who've worked in mental health for many years, this can take some adjusting to. So we work with it very carefully and very slowly, and we always have a witness. So people draw these big drawings with a witness sitting very quietly beside them, just holding soft focus gaze around the space. What I'm trying to show people is the shapes that come from just the structure of the body. So when many people who want to access more creativity in their lives, they say, I'm not creative, I can't draw, I've no imagination. And what you can demonstrate if you do this just as an exercise is that the way we are made is if we swing our arms, we get beautiful circles that in fact are the same shape as the earth. They're like an apple, a circle with a dimple at both ends. So, and when people see this, they're often very surprised. Oh, I can draw circles. I can draw a beautiful circle. I can actually draw a straight line. If I just stretch my arm, a straight line comes. So this can be quite a revelation to someone who says, I really can't draw, I'm terrified of drawing, don't make me draw. And yet they want more expansion in their life, they want more creativity in their life, they want to change their life, you know? And how do I access my creativity if I can't even stretch my arms out?